Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wild Raven Tarot. This is the part where I bring guests on and we chit chat and talk about shit. Today I have Sabrina Svard. How are you? Tree of Life Inner Guidance.
I'm good,
What's up?
Bobby. Thanks for having me.
Today we're just going to talk about astrology. I use a lot of astrology in my tarot readings, and Sabrina is an astrologer who also does tarot and runes and a whole bunch of goodies.
Magical shit.
Magical shit. That's right.
Magical shit. I do all kinds of
Oh,
magical shit.
I forgot I put my phone on vibrate again. Son of a gun.
Put it in your pocket and you'll remember, Bobby.
Right?
Wink, wink.
And wink, wink. You would think I would, huh? Um, so let's say hi to a bunch of people before we start, shall we? I see in the crowd my sister Selena is here. What up, girlfriend? Maru is first up. How you doing, Maru? Let me move my
Hi, Selena.
microphone out of the
Hi,
way.
Maru.
We've got Jan,
Maru.
Silky Still. What's up? Rebecca, Jan and Rebecca were in my members chat this weekend, so that was awesome. Who else we got? We've only got a few people so far. Joanne Miranda! You got to say hi to Joanne. What up, girlfriend?
I don't know if I can say it as well as you, Bobby.
Selena. And there will be people joining us as the
Thank
show
you,
goes
Selena,
on.
for both. Thank you, Selena.
Um, Selena was just commenting earlier about your Oracle deck. Uh,
Yes.
you want to show that real quick before we
I got
start?
it right here. And I'm right now working on a deck that you know how just shit falls out of the sky and you get these ideas? So I'm right
Mm-hmm.
now working on a tarot deck and it is going to be absolutely hysterical. Hysterical. So I don't know. I have another one I'm going to do first, but this one seems to be kind of be taking a little precedence. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, here is my brand new Oracle deck. I just finished this up at the end of October. This is called the Land of Enchantment Oracle. And I'm trying to get out of that glare. And it is all my own photography, all my own doing. And I did all the pictures, did all the captions, and it's a happy deck, and it's 60 cards. And we'll pull the first one out here that says celebration and joy. And we can use this to pull a few cards for the collective if you want to at the end. But I'm super happy about this deck, and I'm even more excited to do all of the rest of them because instead of
You
having 6 on deck, pun intended, I now have 7 decks. I'm going to be really busy in 2026. It's very
good,
exciting. Yeah.
good. I would like to show you
Ooh,
guys my cup that was gifted to me this weekend at the Bisbee Market. Isn't
that's
that cool?
beautiful.
Joey always has her big cup, and I don't have one. And I mentioned that to somebody, and they had a booth, and they went and got me one.
Nice. That's beautiful.
I love this. So, hold on. It was who was it? I don't have a good memory, you guys.
My
I
name's
think we all know
Sabrina. Nice to meet you.
that. um, Erica, that was her name, Erica. And I'm going to be offering her products too. They're really cool.
Don't you? You have a an online store, don't you?
I'm working on it. I can't seem to connect my bank account to my Printify shot. That's the only thing stopping me. I'm doing something wrong. So Joey's wife is going to help me with it. but I've got the designs ready to go. Yes, I've got my store. And then on my website, if you go to wildraventarotaz.com, got to put the AZ at the end of Wild Raven Tarot. WildRavenTarotAZ.com, I have a page called the Midnight Market where it's all our tarot tribe. People are sending me their info, and you can just go down and see who has a store and what's available. It's like a mall for our tribe. It's pretty cool.
Shopping. That is
Yeah.
cool.
And as Gerald would say, shop responsibly, blah, blah, blah. Uh,
I'm a
I
maximalist,
never,
and I'm not going to listen to that at all.
I don't listen to those either. It's true. Let's see.
Although I usually take a little shopping hiatus in January, February, and March, and then I don't know what happens. I'm back at it again.
Selena's like, I'm not a responsible shopper. No kidding. Hi, Annie, by the way. So, Selena, speaking of, this came in the mail today. I got a couple goodies from Selena. She sent me this little anime deck, the Witchling Academy Tarot. So, I'm going to check that out. And then we have the Spiritual Tarot, which is more along my vibe, but we're going to check that out too. And then I got a bag. I love tarot bags, you guys. I really do.
Oh, that's good to know.
Well, because I have them hanging everywhere all over my house.
I see
Uh,
that. I just
yeah.
organized all my cards. I couldn't stand it anymore. So I put them in clear containers and put them all up the shelf, and I categorized them. Like this is my little astrology tarot box. And the only problem is I have about a dozen of these boxes in, cards.
Yeah.
It's an obsession. It is.
That's the problem with collectors. There's nowhere to put these damn decks of cards once you get them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I figured it out. So
Cool beans. All right, so we've said hi to everybody. We've talked about what we got coming up. Tomorrow, I do want to point out, um, tomorrow's Wednesday, and 420
Christmas
Tarot
Eve.
is going to be 2 hours earlier because Joey's going to her in-laws' house tomorrow. So instead of 4 o'clock Eastern, it's going to be at 2 o'clock Eastern. Let's see what else. And Selena and I have decided to take the night off on Thursday because it's Christmas. We are not doing a Behind the Moon episode that night. We will be back the following week on New Year's to talk about a year review, what we've been through throughout the year, the blessings that have come into our lives. What else were we talking about? Oh, and of course, all the tarot decks we've collected.
Could
Also,
I say
yeah,
one thing for something that's on my channel right now that people might need? I have the holidays days, DAZE. I have 3 tips for survival of the holidays. In case anybody wants to come in there, you might want to watch it before you show up at your relative's house or in-laws house, because it may help you.
uh, yeah, um,
Yeah.
tarot tribe troubles. Yeah, I'm redoing my rooms simply for the fact that I don't have storage space anymore. I need to get a new stand-up cabinet, so that's the impetus for all
You could,
this.
the thing I have here is just a big cabinet, tall, thin. And if you put it in these plastic bins, it's super cool because you can see what's in there. And if you put it in, like I have Oracle card decks in a different spot. I have all my rune information in one of these. It's all super organized because I have 8 million planets in Capricorn and I can't stand the mess.
Let's talk about that.
Let's.
So, where did you want to start this conversation?
Well, I think a lot of the readers that read tarot, they know a little bit about astrology. Um, and a lot of people know their sun sign and maybe their moon sign. But I thought maybe we would just start from the ground up as
Yes.
to, you know, how you actually get your astrology chart and why does the time and place matter, etc., etc. So I don't know the folks in the chat how much they know about astrology. Maybe everybody in the chat is already an astrologer. Any astrologers in the chat? Fess up. Or if there's anybody in there that kind of doesn't know anything except their sun sign, I'm happy to yak on about it. Bobby has left the building. Is that my mother calling? She does not want to talk to me, I assure you.
That was my doctor. Doctor
Yeah.
calls get taken. I'm sorry, you
Yes, they
guys.
do. No, it's
Uh,
okay. It's okay.
that was actually my old doctor calling with one of those. Hi, we'd like to go ahead and get you scheduled. I was like, hell no. When I was with you, my numbers dropped so badly I almost died. No. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, we'll just close out your account. Yeah, you do
Thank
that.
you so much and Happy New Year.
Right. I'm
So
like,
I'm
I'm live
looking at
right
the
now. I
chart.
can't cuss you out.
So I'm looking at the chart and I have one person on here that's deep into astrology, and then another person is so confused, and another person says they suck. So I first of all, what I
Astrology
want
is
to
my
say,
nemesis.
yeah. So what I want to say about astrology, okay, how it differs from tarot, okay. So there's 78 cards in tarot, however you want to pronounce it. Once
Tarot.
you learn the meaning of those 78 cards, the rest of it's kind of your own interpretation, or depending on the imagery on each deck, that could somewhat alter a little bit the meaning of the card or the situation. But kind of tarot is tarot is tarot. And I hope that makes sense to everybody else in the chat. Like the Four of Pentacles, for example, is the miser card. Okay. It means hanging on to your resources. And another Four of Pentacles is still going to be the miser card, and that's not going to change very much. Um, with astrology, your whole kind of existence is altered individually by where the planets were in the sky at the moment you were born. So not only do you have to understand the sun signs, as we'll call them, the signs, you have to understand what the planets mean. You have to understand what the houses mean and what the planet in a certain sign in a certain house means. And then there's the transits, which are ever changing. The transits, meaning the planets in the sky, are still revolving through around the sun, through all the signs. So now you have to look at how the transits affect your planets. And before you even look at that, you have to understand how your own planets affect each other in the chart. And that's the reason why one Leo or one Sagittarius might be so different from another. It's because of where the planets land at the moment you were born. So there's a lot to astrology and astronomy, and it's, kind of mathematical configurations. So if you all want, I can just start right from the bottom. And the very first thing you do to get your astrological chart. And is that where you all want me to go? I'm happy to go there. Or you can tell me
Let,
where
let
to
me
go.
let me talk about this real quick since you brought it up. This is the
Okay.
decan wheel. Each one of these little spots is 10 degrees. There's 36 spaces. You could see that each quarter contains three signs. So in the upper left-hand side, we've got Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Below that, we've got Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Next to that, we've got Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Then Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So those are the 12 signs. But within each sign, you could see 30 degrees, three different 10-degree segments. So at the very top right there, you see the Two of Pentacles. The little circle with the cross is supposed to be pentacles or discs. So in the first decan, the Two of Pentacles is ruled by Jupiter. The second decan, it's still pentacles, but now we've got the energy of Mars. The third decan, which is the Four of Pentacles, is ruled by the Sun. So what Sabrina was saying about the Four of Pentacles being the Four of Pentacles, well, this is why. You can see the guy holding on to his wealth in the Four of Pentacles. He's relishing his wealth. He's living in his joy. So that is how the sun signs affect each, or the planets are able to affect the different tarot card signs. Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay. Oh, here we are. All right. So when you first get your astrological chart, so let me say that the reason you need, of course, your date of birth, full month, day, year, you need the time of your birth, and you need where you were born. So that is what's going to set up your natal chart. So why that is so important is because obviously at different times during the day, the planets are going to be in different places. You know, they all revolve around the sun. And the placement is where we would get the latitude and longitude from, because where you were born, in what city and state and country, if you were born, say, for example, if you were born in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, at the same time as somebody was born in Boston, Massachusetts, even though you're born at the same time in the same day, the planets are going to be a little different because of the latitude and longitude. So that's going to alter it. And this is the reason why it's so important to have your time of birth so your chart can be accurate. And how, if you don't know your birth time, how you get your birth time is you can, number one, call the hospital where you were born and got your birth certificate issued. They may be able to get that information for you, although today they may not tell you anything. And also, wherever they registered your birth, in the city where they registered your birth, like where I grew up was not where I was born. I was born in Indiana, PA, hometown of Jimmy Stewart, might I add. That's not where I grew up and where my address was, but that's how I got my birth certificate. Is I had to contact the Indiana County Courthouse in Pennsylvania, tell them that I wanted my birth certificate and I wanted the time on it. You have to very specifically ask for the time or they won't put it on there. They may or they may not put it on there. I think Bobby's doctor's calling him again. So I'm going to keep on talking.
No.
Okay. Just messing around, messing with
just
my head.
just hitting my vape.
Okay.
Thought I'd do it off screen to not draw attention to it. Thanks, Sabrina.
No problem. I just want to make sure you're here with me.
I'm here. I
I'm
would never leave
scared.
you.
So if for some reason you can't get a birth time, okay, that's the most accurate way to get your chart. But if you can't get your birth time, we could do what we consider whole sign houses. And how you would do a whole sign house, there's 12 houses in astrology. So what we would do is we would put your sun sign on the ascendant. So for example, Bobby's a Leo. If we didn't have any idea what time he was born and we couldn't get that information, We would just put his sun sign right on the ascendant, and then you'd plug the planets in like that. You would get some information that way. You could also do it as whatever um, day you were born and what degree of Leo that is. What degree are you, Bobby? Leo?
I believe I'm the second decan. Hold on.
Not.
Uh,
I want the degree, the exact degree. So what I'm talking about as far as degrees go, there are 30 degrees in each astrological sign. It starts, the actual astrological wheel starts with 0 degrees of Aries. And it goes from 0 Aries to 29 degrees of Aries. So Bobby has the uh,
Mars.
deacon sign up there. So if you look at the Aries symbology, which is on the left hand side in red, you'll see that it has 0 to 10, then it would go 11 to 20, then 21 to 29 degrees of Aries. Each 10 degree is considered a decan or a decan of that sign. So, as far as using a whole sign sun chart, if you don't have your birth time, if you were 15 degrees of Leo, you would put that 15 degrees of Leo on the ascendant and plug everything else in around the wheel. I hope this is making sense to you all. So, 0 is the first degree of any sun sign. 0 Aries is considered the start of the astrological wheel. And that's why you'll see Aries put on the what's called the ascendant. And that is the far left hand side of the chart. Bobby, do you have a chart you can pull up? Any chart.
Of what?
Yours. Nope, I don't want the deacons.
Oh, no, no, no. I don't have a chart.
Okay, well, that's all right.
Uh,
So
Hold on. Let me
I
find you
can
one.
make it up as we go along here. So the very first sign, your ascendant, is on the astrological wheel on that far left corner. So if you look at your astrological wheel, like a pie or a pizza, it's a pizza and has 12 slices of pizza. Each one of those slices of pizza is considered an astrological house. Each house has a particular meaning. So, how you get those houses set up to be accurate to you
Whoops. Hold on.
is you need your birth time and your date and your place. And that would set it up to your astrological chart. So your ascendant is the sign that was coming up over the horizon at the time you were born. So, okay. So your ascendant is the astrological sign that's on the far left, and I think he has. I can't see far away. So, um, whatever sign that is would be
Whoops.
your ascendant. Hi.
Hi.
So,
Uh,
and if you are, let's say you're, and I'm going to use Bobby because I know a little bit about his chart. He's a Gemini rising Leo. So the sign coming up over the horizon at the moment he was born, date, time, year, place, all of that was Gemini. And he's a Leo. So I'm going to guess that his sun is around either the third house or the fourth house. Okay. That's just placing it around the astrological wheel. So if he met someone else that was also a Leo, but let's say they're Taurus rising, a Taurus rising Leo is going to look and act very differently than a Gemini rising Leo. So that's why someone could have the exact same birthday, born at a different time, but they would look different, act different, have different priorities. Their sun sign would still be Leo. They would still probably want to be the center of attention. And they, would be romantic and fun. And
So, like, and Leo,
The no, okay. I'm thinking of something different. Forgive me. Go on.
It's the Gemini coming in there
Well, I was
saying, "Oh, but
questioning
wait, I
about
think
so a Gemini Leo would be more cerebral, I would think, and a Taurus Leo would be more physical, sexual, uh, grounded, I would think.
yes, yes." So a Gemini rising Leo would want to come in the room and be talking to everybody, probably know everybody, um, have an opinion for everybody. A Taurus rising Leo would kind of come into the room and
Timmy.
perhaps not start talking right away. They would kind of observe the room and see what's going on, and their physical appearance would be very different. So I have not met you yet in person, Bobby. How tall are you? Are you tall?
I'm 6 foot tall.
And you're probably a more slender build.
Currently, I am, yes.
Okay. So a Gemini's appearance is going to, I would think, taller, more on the slender side. Not always, but more wiry. Because remember, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury was the messenger of the gods. So Mercury was flitting around all over the place, having conversations. And then Taurus is the sign of the bull. So the Taurus rising Leo is going to come in the room, probably a little bit more substantial frame, solid, probably has the reputation of we're not going to change this person's mind. Where a Gemini is going to be like, oh, let's talk about that. And what do you think? And how do you feel? And maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do that. The Taurus is like, Taurus
Yeah, I
rising
do that.
Leo. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. How is this going to benefit my bank account? That's what and the Taurus is going to say before we do anything. Can I have some food? Can we have? Do you have any wine here? And I'm going to go right over there to that cheese board, and we can talk about it once I have something to eat. So notice how that's super different. Now, the other thing is your ascendant is going to set up where all the other planets fall in that big 12 pieces of pizza. So where
Pizza.
I know where Gemini is on the first house, the second house is probably going to be Cancer. So Bobby really likes having security. Whether he has it or not, he likes that. He wants that. Or because I know a little bit about him, I'm going to say that, how he might earn a living is taking care of people. And he values taking care of others because that's very Cancerian. And then when we go to the third house, is your son in the third house, Bobby? Because that would be where Leo would be, unless you have,
No, it's
yeah,
in the third house.
it's in the third house.
It's in the
So
third.
now Bobby could almost come across as double Gemini because Gemini rules the third house. So his son in Leo is in the third house and he's Gemini rising. So he's going to get a double whammy of that Mercury energy where Mercury already rules his chart. His sun is in the third house that's ruled by Gemini, and that's Mercury and Gemini again. So then the fourth house, Virgo, I'm assuming you have Virgo on the fourth.
I do not know. I couldn't tell you
Okay.
offhand. I have it
Well,
written down somewhere.
okay, so that's all right. I'll get your info and pull it up and I'll look at it later. But now I'm going to back up to the Taurus rising Leo, which is going to have a very different energy. The first house would be Taurus. So this person is going to come in the room. They're going to come in solid, strong, more than likely immovable, not super talkative out of the gate. Then when you go to the second house, that would be ruled by Gemini. And this Taurus rising person, because Gemini and your second house may also say that you value communication and you also may have two or three different ways of earning a living. because Gemini is duality. So, where the second house rules your value, it can
My
also rule your
brother's a
income.
Gemini. My brother knows how to hustle.
Yeah,
He's yeah.
I I have Gemini on the second. I'm Taurus rising, so I know the setup really well. So I have Gemini on the second, and I've always had at least 4 jobs
Me too.
doing all kinds of things. But this is also going to move. We're talking about a Leo, though. This is also going to move the Leo's sun into a different house position. So you have Taurus, the way you come in the room, first house. Second house is way you can earn money, your values, what's important to you as far as somewhat material things. Third house is communication. So now we've got Cancer on the third house. So somebody with Cancer and their communication style is going to be very different than a Leo communication style. And now the Cancer would have Leo on the fourth house, where your fourth house is your home and your upbringing. So we've taken that Leo sun and put it into the fourth house, completely different energy from the third house. So this is why it's super important if you have the ability to get your birth time and where you were born, because this sets up your astrological wheel that will start to make more and more sense to you as you look at it. And the other thing is it sets things up. So different planets in the sky, which are called transits, you can see what department of your life is going to be affected by where the transits are. So, for example, right now we have 4 major heavy outer planets that are changing signs. And if you all know kind of what the solar system looks like, so you know how the sun is in the center of the solar system, our solar
Hmm.
system, and the planets go around that. So the further out the planets are, the longer it takes for that planet to go around the sun. So this is why to go around the sun the whole way, Saturn takes 29 years approximately. That's your Saturn return. I'm going to have a whole big talk on Saturn return. I love Saturn. Most people do not feel that way about Saturn, but Saturn stays in a sign for a while, 2 or 3 years. And then as you go out, Neptune stays in a sign longer. Uranus stays in a sign for like it takes 85 years for Uranus to go around the sun. Pluto, it takes almost 250 years to go around the sun. So these outer planets really hit us as a collective. And right now we have those planets shifting from water, feelings, emotion, earth, stability, money, monetary things, into fire and air. Fire signs are like, right, Bobby? We're like, yeah, let's get it done. We're going right this very minute. Get the hell out of the way. And the air signs are like, let's talk about this. Let's get everybody together and take a consensus. And, the fire signs want to go off to war because we are in that same cycle of the Civil War from, century or two ago. And the air signs are going to try and talk these fire signs out of it, I hope. So this is why it's important to know your own chart, because when these outer planets, heavy duty planets, make a shift into a different sign and element, it's going to affect you for a long time. You won't feel it immediately, but you'll kind of feel it breathing down your throat, or down your neck. You'll feel it breathing. Um, so I hope that's making sense to everybody. Or I hope I'm not putting people to sleep in the chat. Hello.
Um, let's talk about the energy of the signs and the houses. Because a lot of people may not know that the zodiac signs do carry a slightly different vibe than the
Okay.
actual houses. So the first house is correlated with Aries.
Okay, so here's your astrological wheel. I totally forgot it was on the back of these cards.
Oh, so
So can
cute.
they are cute. So can you see, my friends, on the left-hand side where my finger is, where that's Aries right there. So if you spin this wheel like this, okay, now we have Gemini on the ascendant, and that is what I was talking about with Bobby. So you see how that moved all the rest of the planets around into different houses. Okay. And then we'll back this up to Taurus, where I was talking about the Taurus rising Leo, and where the Leo is now over here in the fourth house. Okay. So your standard astrological wheel right there is starts with Aries. And Aries color is red. It's a fire sign. Okay. And it's kind of known as a maverick. And because Aries starts off your astrological wheel and is the first fire sign, they're the trailblazer. They're the maverick. They're innovative. They're fearless. They can be bossy and self centered. Oops, sorry, Aries. Not all of us has every fabulous trait, but and Aries is going to want to start things. They're fantastic at starting things, not always fantastic at finishing them. So next on your astrological wheel, and a color representation for Taurus is pink. And even though it's pink on here, but as you flip it over, and that's the symbology. So Aries is the ram, Taurus is the bull. Now, a Taurus is very slow to anger. You can annoy a Taurus for a long time, like you can pull that bull's tail out in the field a few times. But let me tell you, when that Taurus lets loose, you are not going to want to be in the same hemisphere, because Tauruses are usually super strong, super stable, solid. Now, not every Taurus. I'm giving you the best and kind of not so good images of a Taurus. They're grounded. They're very into materialism. They rule the second house, which is about values, materialism, earning potential. Okay. They can also, they're fixed, where Aries is a cardinal sign. They want to get it done. Taurus is like, I really like the way things are. Why do you want me to change this? So stubborn as a bull. I'm sure you've all heard that. That's how a Taurus can be. And fixed signs really don't like change. People in general do not like change, but the fixed signs really don't like change. So that's another reason why, if you get your chart done and if you have a lot of planets in fixed elements, change is not going to be easy for you, and you're not going to like it at all. Okay. Next on deck, third sign, Gemini. Gemini's colors usually like a yellow, a gold color of Mercury. They are ruled by Mercury. They're multifaceted. They're curious. They want to hear all the opinions, and they might change their opinion on a whim. Mercury was the messenger of the gods. So communication is very important to a Gemini. The third house rules communication. It also rules short trips. So the ninth house, which is the opposing sign, rules overseas trips. Gemini rules short trips around the hood or in the States. Okay. Everybody okay? I'm going to keep going.
We're with you.
All right. So Cancer. Now, Cancer is the crab. And I'm not really sure where this symbology came from for Cancer. Do you know,
For
Bobby?
the
The crab?
claws.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So Cancer rules the fourth house. So this is where you kind of get daddy's little girl or mommy's boy. Um, not all the
Hey,
time, but
Swampy.
I'm just saying that. Now I happen to love Cancers. All my friends are Cancers and Pisces. So I love the water signs. So a Cancer is kind of like the astrological great mother, the caretaker, the nurturer. It's a water sign. They're very sensitive, they're very caring. They can get their feelings hurt. That's why they retract back into that hard shell. So the fourth house is your upbringing, your home life, your family life. And so what I want to call to your attention here is we've went through fire, earth, air, and water. So that's the first stretch. So fire signs start it, earth signs say, all right, how the hell are we going to implement this and get it done? Your air signs say, well, we better talk to the board about this and make sure we haven't missed something. And the Cancer says, are we taking care of everyone? Are we going to hurt anybody's feelings doing this? So,
Cancer, you mentioned Cancer being the mother sign. If you look on the decan wheel directly across from it, everybody, you've got Capricorn, which is the father. So you've got the mother in the father there. That's how I read it.
yes, yes, of course. And in your chart, you look at the fourth house to see family dynamics. In the 10th house of the father, you look at career, and often that dynamic, what's going on there, will give. So for myself, I would look at that to see what's going on in the family. And anyway, so Leo, could we talk about Leo more? We could never talk
Absolutely.
about Leos enough, can we?
That's right.
All right, so we have Leo here, and in this particular on the back here, it's a golden sun color. Leo is ruled by the sun. Leo is very regal. Leo the lion. I mean, what's
Hell
more
yeah, we
regal?
are.
Leo the lion, courageous, regal, loyal. Leo's one, if they're into you, man, they are loyal, 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 loyal. And they'll be very good to you. But Leo can also be the sign of the narcissist. Leos also love Leos.
True.
I also love Leos. And Leo men love me for some reason. I can walk into a room, and if
Leo
there is
men
a
love me.
yes, they do, you bastard. And this one time we were all out. This was back when I was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and we were all out drinking on the outdoor deck in the summer. And there's a bunch of us girls talking, and I'm just part of the pack, right? And out of the clear blue sky, a Leo engineer, so not just any Leos find me, Leo engineers. He just goes right through all the girls and goes right to me, starts talking to me. And I'm laughing and giggling. And I looked at him and I said, oh, I said, I bet you're a Leo, aren't you? And he said, I am a Leo. I said, are you an engineer? He said, I'm also an engineer. How did you know that? And everybody just died laughing. And I said, they find me. They find me. But
So what I'm
anyway,
hearing is you telling him predictable. Ugh.
I said, thank you. I already know you love me. Thank you so much. Actually, Leo men do love long hair because of the mane, the
I'm
lion's
growing mine
mane.
out. I want mine to look like
I
Jason Momoa. That's right.
Yes, and we would love that. And you have to have a man bun. You have to tie it up with bones. I think that's just cool. I
By
love
this
it.
time next year, I will have my long hair finally.
Okay, and we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting. Okay,
I'll
so
take you all
Leo
on the journey.
Leo rules the fifth house, and the fifth house is creativity. It's love and romance, not marriage, love and romance, fun, parties, children also. So Leo does rule children and the house of children, the fifth house. So now, completely on the opposite
Ramon!
end of the spectrum, we're going to go to Virgo. Okay, now Virgo, the virgin, the fair maiden. If someone's Virgo rising, I hate you because you look Nobody knows how old you are. You look like you're 14 and you're 92, and it's just not fair. So a Virgo rising person, even though they're probably going to be rather plainly, very simply dressed, because Virgo doesn't like all that fuss coming after Leo, they they look very young, like the fair maiden. And
I would like to
they're
point out before you go on, the symbol for Virgo and the symbol for Scorpio are very similar. So don't get confused by this. The way you can tell the difference is Scorpio has a sting, so that's got that little pointy at the end. All right. It's pointing outwards like a Scorpio, whereas Virgo, the last part of it crosses over like a female saying, "No, stop."
and that's
So,
Virgo, but Virgos are more into porn than any other sign.
right.
Don't let
That's why
them
I say
kid you.
stop.
Yeah,
Don't.
that that's all crap.
Right.
So Virgo also, they're very into the health sector, caretaking sector. You will find a lot of nurses or medical people are Virgo or Virgo rising, and they're also, as a rule of thumb, yeah, that's funny. And Virgo has their legs crossed with no
It's true.
underpants.
Right?
So your Virgo, the downside of a Virgo is they can be hypercritical, and they're kind of their astrological job, besides uh, the health and healing, is their job is to find what's wrong and try and fix it. I grew up with a Virgo raising me. Bless her heart. She was a Virgo through and through. And anyway, Virgo rules the sixth house. The sixth house. And when I go through all of these, I'm going to show you how the opposing houses, how they mirror each other, just like the signs mirror each other. So Virgo rules the sixth house of your, if you're an employee, it can rule your work. It's not if you're a contractor or self-employed or an executive. But Virgo is your day-to-day, everyday activities. What you get out of bed, you put your pants on, and you go to work. Virgo rules all the day-to-day stuff and taking care of yourself.
Your
Okay.
job, your house, your dog, those all fall under Virgo. The things
And
that you
Virgo's
do
an earth
daily.
sign. Virgo's an earth sign also. So, all right. And then we're moving on to now, this is the seventh house. So now we talked about Aries, which rules the first house. And if you did a whole sign house chart and you put 0 Aries on the ascendant, what would you would have on the other side would be Libra.
Libra.
Aries is me, me, me. Libra is we. So Libra is about partnerships. Libra is about balance. Libra is about harmony. Libra is about justice, and this is the symbol for the scales. And justice is the scales is the symbol for justice. And if you ever have met someone, Libra is ruled by Venus, just like Taurus, which I don't believe I mentioned that, is also ruled by Venus. Someone that is Libra rising or has a lot of Libra planets is usually very beautiful. And I'm going to give you the most recent, very beautiful Libra. Gavin Newsom is a Libra. He's pretty. He's pretty. And
He's got a great
you
heart, too.
and if you he's got a lot of Sag in his chart. So if you get a Libra that is very kind, and they're usually very respectful, and they try to understand your side and make sure you've heard all sides of the story. But if you get a belligerent Libra, they're going to come after you. That's why they make great lawyers, like
Libras can use
Gavin
their
Newsom.
intelligence as weapons.
Yes,
Yes.
and your air signs are going to use that intellect as a weapon. and you are watching that on stage with Gavin Newsom. And I think I want to say he has Moon and Sag, maybe. So he has a lot of law signs. Sagittarius also rules law and justice. So you're watching a very beautiful, incredibly smart, intelligent man, and the Sag is saying, "This is bullshit, and I'm going right after you." And they're funny. Sagittarius is the jokester of the zodiac. So you put that belligerent Libra with some Sag in the chart, and they're going after you. And they're going to make everybody laugh and make a fool of you. And I think that's exactly what he's doing. I'm sure you could all agree to that.
I
But
think my mom was a Libra or is a Libra. My dad was a Virgo. Um, so both of them raised me to examine everything closely,
well, and that's
to
and
know the
that's
ins and
that's
outs of
clear by your
things.
Gemini rising. You will end up with the chart that get your parents kind of hand down to you, so to speak. You'll see the chart of your family and your ancestors in your own astrological chart. Okay,
Yeah,
for better
dad
or
was a
worse.
Virgo. He worked on airplanes. Um, the scary part is he was also a heroin addict for a long time. Um, so there's that. My mom, if she got angry, went cold. My dad went hot. So I've got cold anger and hot rage inside of me at times. Um, it amazes me how they were both so analytical on everything. So that
And that could drive
trickled
you to
down
do
to me.
drugs. Yeah, and that
Yeah.
that could make you do drugs. I seriously. Now your dad was the Virgo,
Yeah.
the engineer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Virgo in your engineering groups are going to be Virgo and are going to be Aquarius. So, and you know, often if you say, okay, so Leo engineers, Sabrina, that's kind of who likes you. Often your sun sign may have signs on either side in your chart. Like a Leo could have 3 or 4 planets in Virgo, and that's where the engineering comes from, depending on where they land. So Libra rules the seventh house. The seventh house is about open enemies, okay, contracts, um, justice, marriage, partnerships, okay, air sign. So now we're going to go to
Oh,
Scorpio.
before you go on, yeah, I want to stress what you said about Aries being me, and Libra being we. That's a big thing. Um, I love that. Yeah, there you go.
Well, my screen is backwards, so I think I'm going
Yeah.
over there, but I'm going over here. So that's why I haven't figured out how to fix it. Honestly, I haven't taken the time to figure out how to fix it because I
You
will
do
fix
that.
it.
All right, so next we have Scorpio, right?
Yes, we do. Okay. So, like Bobby said earlier, notice over here that is the sting of the Scorpio's tail, the scorpion. So, Scorpio is a water sign. This is the deepest, most emotional sign. Pisces is emotional, but Scorpio's deep, penetrating emotions. Scorpio is the detective. Um, Scorpio is intense, ruled by Pluto. Now, I also want to mention that before Pluto was discovered, Scorpio was ruled by Mars. So there is a lot of Mars in with Scorpio. So Pluto is transformation, Scorpio is transformation. In fact, my friend who is gone now, she was a Scorpio rising Capricorn, and she always used to say, anyone that has a Scorpio moon, their emotions and feelings are so deep, they don't even know what the hell they are. They're so deep. They can't even access them. So I don't know if anybody in the chat has a Scorpio moon. If you want to give a little commentary, I see Red Dragon, and you're a Scorpio. That is the perfect name for you, Red Dragon. That's fabulous.
Krista, what's
So
your birthday?
Me?
No, Krista.
Oh,
She was saying, I have no idea what I am. I thought I was Scorpio Cuspa Libra. I feel like I'm mostly Libra. Give us your birthday. Oh, Mysterio D, what up, you sexy bitch?
oh, Miss Taro D, you hot tamale.
Do you know why Mexicans eat tamales for Christmas? So we could have something to unwrap. Yeah, that's. Is that a bad joke or what?
You know what? I have to tell you, I think I'm the only person alive that hates tamales. I have
Ah,
no,
I'm
I,
making tamales later today. Oh,
I
hell
am
yeah.
not coming over. Not
That's the
coming over.
traditional meal.
Okay. So, all right.
October
So I'm just
27th.
gonna
Oh, October
so where are we
23rd.
here? Okay. Witchy best friend. Who's the person that said they didn't know what sign they what where are
That's
you?
what that's Krista and her birthday is October 23rd.
Okay, Miss Krista or Mr. Krista. Krista.
It's
So
Miss.
there really isn't any such thing as a cusp, and let me tell you why. So remember we talked earlier how there's 0 to 29 degrees of each sun sign. And depending on what time you're born, that is going to determine what degree. So if you were born on whatever date it was, October 23rd, I think Krista said. So it depends on what time you were born. So if you were born on October 23rd at 4:32 p.m. in Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, and you look at your exact birth time and place of birth, it's going to tell you whether you are 29 degrees and a few minutes of Libra or you're 0 degrees and a few minutes of Scorpio. So, depending on what time you were born, that is going to tell you whether you're Libra or Scorpio. Now, if you feel more like you're Libra, you may have more Libra planets in your chart. Or you could be Libra rising, which would give you all those qualities of being Libra when people meet you. My friend Bonnie's a Sag. She's Libra rising and she's just beautiful. And she walks in the room and has the best smile ever. And she's Libra rising and she also has Moon in Libra and she's just Miss Congeniality. And then, of course, when she shuts the door, is when the Sag comes out. She starts complaining about everyone, but she comes across as this beautiful Libra person.
Krista,
So,
what time were you born, by the way? Since we're talking about that. 30 minutes from Libra. Uh, because according to the decan wheel, the decan
according to the
wheel,
Dick Wheel,
according to the dick wheel,
according to the Dick Wheel,
October 23rd is Scorpio, and your card is the Five of Cups, which is ruled by Mars. So you've got Mars and Scorpio here for your card.
Krista, can I have what year you were born? Is
She
that okay to
said,
ask that? Can I have the year
yeah,
you were born?
she said 1971, October 23rd.
Oh shoot, I don't have it here. I have the
Then why the
latest.
hell you ask? I'm just kidding.
Well, because I forgot that I have two ephemerises. I wore the other one out. So what this is here that I was going to look up is this starts in the year 2000 and it has all the astrological information, times, dates every month for the next 50 years in here. So depending on what time you were born, that will show up. Okay, so can we get back to this?
Absolutely.
Can I finally talk about the rest of Scorpio?
Fine,
All right.
whatever.
So Scorpio ruled by Pluto, the eighth house, sex, death, taxes, transformation. The eighth house is also other people's money. So if you were looking to marry someone and they have Taurus or Virgo on the eighth house, that partner could be a little bit on the frugal side. I'm trying to be kind. Your
Cheap.
partner your partner could be a cheap shit if they have Virgo or Taurus on that eighth house. So that's also other people's money. All right. So now we're going to go to Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, this symbol is the archer, the centaur that shoots the big arrow. They always shoot for the
So
stars.
show them the difference between Mars and Sagittarius. They both have an arrow looking thing. The difference is Sagittarius has the line through it where it's the bow,
I'm looking
just
for
like she
Mars
was
here.
saying.
Hold on.
Mars, it has the sphere, but it has a circle. So think spear and shield for Mars because it's aggressive. And with Sagittarius, he's trying to find his way. It's about direction. So that's the difference there. I want everybody to understand the glyphs so that when you see them on tarot cards, you know which energy to bring into it.
And it does take a little bit of time to learn the glyphs. I started messing with this stuff 40 years ago, so I write in glyphs. I don't write out Sag and, you know, anyway, so Sagittarius is the sign of the archer, the centaur, ruled by Jupiter. Sagittarius does everything in a really big way. They are the cheerleader of the zodiac. We are enthusiastic about being enthusiastic. And we always try to look on the bright side. And Sag rules the ninth house, which is philosophy, higher learning, far horizons, such as overseas travel. Um, it rules learning, teachers, and I have 4 planets in the ninth house of Sagittarius. What have I done my whole entire life? Teach. And I've taught overseas. I've been flown around the world to give trainings. And your athletic signs also. Sag is your big athlete here. Aries is another athlete. Leo's another athlete. Your fire signs, okay, competitive. I used to think I wasn't competitive until I started Taekwondo, and I'm like, bitches, I'm number one. Get out of the way. So ruled by Jupiter, the downside of a Sagittarius, I mean, we have none, just kidding. The downside of a Sag is they can be the blowhard. They can be, um, it's super egotistical. Kind of the fire signs can
There's a
have,
fire sign.
it's a
Yeah.
fire sign, ego thing. Um, they also can be the student. Instead of becoming the guru and the master and the teacher, they're forever a student because they just don't know where the hell they're going. Okay. So now the sign that is most near and dear to my heart is, now we're going into the 10th house, and we're also going to the midheaven. So we're transitioning to the top of the chart here, where this is the midheaven. This is where you are seen in the world, the 10th house, how you appear in the world. And this is Capricorn. And this is kind of a funny sign. This is the sign of the mountain goat. So you have, you know, a land animal and a sea animal.
Well, it's the sea
And
goat. Yeah.
yep, the did I say mountain goat? I didn't
You
mean it.
did.
I'm sorry. The sea goat. Sorry.
There's
So
actually a big story about how the sea goat relates to it.
go ahead.
I'll do another show on it sometime, but it's about a Zeus sending a goat to carry 2 kids across the sky in the ocean, and one fell off in the waters. It's a neat story, but
You know,
um,
if you look back at all these mythological gods, they made some seriously irresponsible decisions.
right. Um, so the sea goat is a blending of the water and the earth. Yeah, you're right.
So Capricorn. Now I have to. I will
Those are great
readily.
cards, by the way. Those are
Aren't they
really
cute? You
cool.
want to see what they
Yeah,
are?
I do. I may need to get this Astro Alignment deck.
And
Okay.
it does come with a nice little book, which I haven't looked at. I hardly ever look at the guidebooks. And
I
that's
know,
why
me
when I
too.
design all of my decks, they will never have a guidebook because you're going to know what they mean without a guidebook. Okay. So, Capricorn ruled by Saturn.
Hey,
Now,
Denise.
I have to say that Saturn gets a really bad rap, um, I think, but I have six six placements in Capricorn. So that's why no matter how sad I am, this is going to win because I have so much Capricorn energy. Ruled by Saturn, this is your CEO, your executive, your boss that doesn't give a shit why you're late. You're late, you're irresponsible. That is Capricorn. Capricorn is about responsibility and things to do with Saturn and Capricorn. They're in it for the long haul. They're not in it for like, all right, I'm going to just
All
do
right.
this for the next 2
Well,
months.
let's talk about Saturn for a second.
I'd
Saturn
love to.
is the planet of wisdom, as well as restriction. But Saturn on the tree of life is associated with the third sphere, Bina, the mother sphere. So it gives birth also. It gives form. It pulls the energy in with that circle and gives it form. All right. So when you say, "Oh no, Saturn," everybody don't. Saturn is wisdom.
I I love Saturn, but
Yeah.
that'll be a whole talk for another show.
Yeah.
And if you knew
We could do the
astrology,
planets next time.
yeah. So Capricorn is the child that is already an adult. So if you had heavy Capricorn planets or a lot of Capricorn placements, you are old before your time, but as you age, you become younger. And it's started to get to the point for me because of all these Capricorn planets. I am truly at the place. Can I swear on this channel?
Fuck yeah.
I am truly at the place where I do not give one fuck, two fucks, a red fuck, or a blue fuck. I don't care because I have busted my ass my whole life. Saturn and Capricorn are mastery. Mastery. So if you treat a Capricorn boss properly, you do your job, you maybe go a little bit out of your way to do your job, they will probably make sure you're recognized because that's the kind of people they want to hang with. And
And
even though I'm sad
yes.
with all this Capricorn, I try my best in my life to only surround myself with people who walk the walk, talk the talk. And if they say they're going to do something, they do it. Because if they don't, they will be out of my life so fast. No patience for any of that nonsense. So Capricorn rules the 10th house. And let me just give you a little quick example of Saturn in the 10th. Saturn in the 10th is you are on display to the world. Saturn in the 10th also can predict a fall from grace. Richard Nixon, Saturn in the 10th. Saturn will reward you. It will take you down like a ton of bricks to where you belong based on your responsibility and behavior. That's why I love Saturn.
So red, aren't the negative side of Capricorn prestige and materialism? When you get a Capricorn gone bad, um, I'm not going to point fingers, but sometimes they become the energy of the president, uh, domineering, not a good person. So, yes.
One of the big downsides of a lot of Capricorn is they can be so logical and so analytical that they leave all the emotion out of it. So, especially a Capricorn moon can be one cold bitch. we're not, but we can kind of look at this as like, well, why don't you just fix it? So you know how men always want to fix things and women always just want to talk about it. If you get a female Capricorn with heavy Capricorn energy, they're going to be like, why the hell don't you do something about this? So they cannot be very warm or nurturing. They have feelings, believe me, they have feelings, but the responsibility and getting the job done is going to override the feelings far too many times.
Miss Charity, what is your husband's sign? You say in your family you have at least 5 Leos married to Capricorns. What's your husband's sign? And I would like to let you know that my husband is a Capricorn, so there's another Leo Capricorn combination. He gives me stability. If we were a picture, he gives my picture a frame, restrictions, and I give his picture color. Because I'm out there.
It's the Gemini and that Leo, double Gemini Leo combo.
That's right. Um,
Is Miss Tarot D? What sign are you, Miss
sh-
Tarot D?
she's a Leo, and
I
he's a
knew it.
Capricorn.
Well, you know what's funny is I just spilled the beans and I have 6 placements in Capricorn and Leos come running. So that I don't know what it is. And I think what it is maybe there's a side of Leo that they want to, be the party boy and the fun and just, go eat chicken wings and drink beer. And the Capricorn says, you can do that, but your ass better be home at 10 p.m. sharp. If you want anything from me, you better get home. So I don't know. But like I said, that's funny that I'm going to have to look that up and figure out what it is. Or maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
Well,
uh,
Capricorns ground us. They really do. Leos can be exuberant, let's say.
I get
And
that.
I need the energy of my husband to ground me, for him to say, do you think that'll really work or be worth it? That type of thing. He doesn't shoot me down or shoot my ideas down, but he is realistic, and he keeps me from, believe it or not, from making a lot more mistakes.
Yeah, well, and I think that's another thing. So thank you for bringing that up, Bobby. The other thing that when you look at a person's chart, and Capricorn is an earth sign. So if you look at a person's chart, so all the planets that you have in your chart, if they are, let's say they're mostly air signs and they have maybe one fire planet and one water planet, what is the missing element there? So they're mostly air. They have one fire, one water. The missing element is earth. So they may not be grounded. They may have all these ideas in their head, that air sign, airy, airhead. There is a reason for that word. And so that's the other thing that you would look at on a chart, is you would look at it and say, oh my goodness, you don't have any earth. I have a friend that is all air and water, and she kind of is a hot mess, and she's not grounded. She just doesn't stick with anything for any length of time. And I'm like, well, you did that for 6 weeks. Why didn't you don't even know anything yet? But anyway, Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, but before Uranus was discovered, the ruler of Aquarius was Saturn. So, Aquarius is the bearer, which can be kind of confusing because it's an air sign. So here is your technologist. Here's also your humanitarian. That water bearer is giving water to the collective, to the people. And this is why you're hearing that Pluto, that is transitioned recently into Aquarius for the next 20 some years, is power to the people, because Aquarius is your humanitarian. So with Pluto in Aquarius, we, instead of, where Pluto is in Capricorn, which is all the executives, the banks, the top down, the heavy structure CEO. Now that Pluto's in Aquarius, you are going to see more and more of the people starting to protest. As one example of Pluto and Aquarius, the people are going to start taking over. So this rules the 11th house of groups, um, and best friends. This is where your friends are, is in the 11th house. So if you've ever dated an Aquarius, you might be so super confused. Are we lovers? Are we friends? Or what the hell's going on here? So that could happen. Is, they definitely want to be your friend. They want to be everybody's friend. But if they take,
Aquarius will walk away from a difficult situation um, if they're not, if they realize they're not going to win this argument, rather than sit there and argue with you. Aquarius will just turn on their heels and say, "I'm done."
so, and there's your Aquarius symbol, which is kind of the crazy symbol, I call it.
That's
So
Uranus.
yeah, so, and that rules Aquarius. So if you consider some of the characteristics of Uranus, Uranus is very sudden.
I
So
keep hearing
uh,
Uranus.
you stay out of my anus. I'm talking about a different one. Uranus. So it's sudden. So that's where an Aquarius will be just like, bye bye. So I had a joke with my friend Patty, who's been an astrologer forever. And we used to talk about how, and Aquarius is a fixed sign also. So Aquarius will say, if you, I want everything my way, and if you don't like it, well, fuck you. And Scorpio wants everything their way, another fixed sign. And if you don't like it, I'll fucking kill you. So that's the
Yeah.
difference between the two. Scorpio will seek revenge. Aquarius will be like, bye, don't love you, bye, I'm out of here. And you just don't even exist anymore. So which is super interesting. So now we have, last but not least, we have
If we
Pisces.
wait, before we go into Pisces, if you look at the Aquarius cards in tarot, it's the Five of Swords, the Six of Swords, and the Seven of Swords are the Aquarius cards. They're all difficult cards because they deal with your thoughts and how to deal with them. The Five of Swords deals with betrayal. The Six of Swords deals with moving into a better frame of mind. And the Seven of Swords um, is about
Conflict.
somebody conflict
The
stealing your
thief in the
peace of
night.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So they all deal with a
swords,
mental thing.
yeah, swords in the tarot decks are all about mental and mental agility. So if you look at, the Five of Swords, you've got conflict going on here. How are you going to kind of think your way out of this? Six of Swords is that Uranus saying bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
And the Seven of Swords, you sneaky fuck, you're dead as soon as I find you, but I'm going to find somebody else to do it for me. That would be Scorpio.
I see.
So, all right. So, Pisces, like I said, last
Pixies.
but not least. So, Pisces is a water sign, super ultra sensitive, ruled by Neptune. Before Neptune was discovered, it was ruled by Jupiter. So it does have a little bit of an affinity with Sagittarius, even though those signs, in theory, don't really see eye to eye on things. So Pisces is really sensitive, can be emotional, psychic. This is your sign of the psychic and also the psycho. So, because of Neptune, Neptune rules creativity, the dream world, imagination, psychic intuition. It also rules drugs, alcohol, addiction, the 12th house. which is the self undoing, where the sixth house is the self undoing as in mental and emotional. The sixth house is physical. So those are opposite on the astrological wheel. So Pisces is mutable. I forgot to mention that was there's just so much. You see how there's just so much, and we are only talking about the sun, the signs. Pisces is mutable, Sag is mutable, Gemini is mutable. That means we can change our mind anytime we want to, and we don't care. Well, we care, but
Well,
that,
mutable signs figure out the next step. They figure out where they're going and how to hand it off to the next season. Like Pisces would hand it off to Aries, yeah, Aries. Um,
and we're
Pisces
flexible,
leads, yeah, they lead
flexible.
by empathy. They use their intuition to know the twists and turns of how to deal with things. Pisces is known as the house of death, you guys. It's
Yeah,
the house
death
of
and death and
endings.
undoing, death and undoing.
Yeah,
You know,
it is the last sign of the zodiac. It is that before the wheel
um,
starts.
my now I've as I told you, my friends are all water signs for the most part. I do have a Gemini friend or two, but and a couple of Taurus friends. But my friend Kitty, who was the Scorpio rising Capricorn astrologer friend, that she's no longer with us, but what she said about Pisces, I thought that when she first said that to me, I kind of took a little step back because she did not mince her words at all, which I can appreciate after the sting wears off. She said Pisces is a viper. Now,
That
I know that you are reacting the exact same way I did, but I know a few Pisces, and I think that's true. But you have to really do something to them to bring that out. I mean, every sign has a light side, shall we say, and a dark side, you know. And the dark side of Pisces, it can be a lot of drugs and addiction ruled by Neptune, but it can be one of the most creative, sweetest, most empathetic, sympathetic, kindest people you'll ever meet. Um, the one thing that I find about a lot of Pisces is they don't seem to learn their lesson very well because they are so empathetic and kind and sensitive. They'll give a person 2, 3, 4, 10 chances. And I'm like, you know, if it's a good day, you'll get 3 strikes and you're out. But 12th house is the house of mental undoing. It's also the house of institutions. Okay?
institutions as
As
in
in mental institutions. Or it could be the house where you are. Ooh, here comes Santa Claus to my front door. I love it. Packages. Does anybody shop just so you get presents delivered for yourself?
I
I
shop just
do.
so I can see the UPS man walk up the drive.
Yeah, he's my new best friend. He keeps coming back here hoping I'll come out and talk to him. He's probably a Leo. But so I was gonna kind of talk back and forth about how the houses oppose each other. Do you want me to do that?
Yes, sure.
How is everyone very dreamy? Someone said, yeah, that's Pisces. How is everyone holding up on the chat? Is this too much? Because there is a lot going on with astrology. Like I said, we haven't even touched the planets yet.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. I'm looking forward to that because
Okay.
there's 12 uh, zodiac signs, but there are 10 planets that are associated with astrology also, and we won't have time to do it today, but I really do want to talk about those planets.
Yeah.
Um,
So here's your wheel. So I'm gonna kind of hold this wheel up and talk about it, if that's all right with you guys. So you won't see me, but I look the same as I did without the wheel here. So as you look over there on the left-hand side, you see the symbol for Aries, the ram. Now that's the first house. Directly across from that first house in green, slightly above what we would call the horizon in the chart, you see Libra. So I think we already kind of clearly understood what's going on there. I'm trying to get this in a good spot. Whoopsie. Um, Aries is me, Libra is we. The first house is the house of self. It's usually your physical appearance. And Libra is about partnership, marriage, contracts in that seventh house. So if you go to the second house where you see the symbol for Taurus, which the second house is your money, your earning potential, your values, directly across from Taurus is Scorpio, which is other people's money, sex, death, and taxes, and how other people's earning potential may affect you. As I said, your partner there, your partner's money. And I kind of joked about that. I'm trying to hold this card better. There we go. All right. So then next you have Gemini. I hope I'm not making some of you motion sickness here, moving this around. You have Gemini, which is the third house of communication. It's about more local travel. Okay. And it's about the smaller details of situations, the details that are within the bigger picture. Then directly across from Gemini, you see Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the big picture ruled by Jupiter. We're shooting for the horizon. We want to see the big picture. We're going to let Gemini deal with all those details. Okay. Higher learning with Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your master's degree, your PhD. Gemini is your bachelor's degree, so to speak. Then, and I'm going to turn this a little bit better here. So now we're moving on to Cancer, Capricorn. So we have the fourth house here at the bottom, which is your home life, and the midheaven up here, which is your public life. So Cancer is mom, stays at home with the family in olden days. And then Capricorn is the dad that has the career and is out in the public eye. Next is Leo, which is the sign of children and creativity and all about, me, my kids. And Aquarius, opposite, is groups, is about the collective and how we can better serve humanity. Then you have Virgo, which is in the sixth house of your physical health. Pisces is the 12th house of your mental health. It can also be your mental undoing in the 12th house. Virgo can be, your self-care and your own physical undoing. Both of those signs tend to take care of people, your Pisces and your Virgo. So I hope this is making an ounce of sense, Bobby.
I think it did, but I like astrology. I hope everybody else is following along. What I do want to say, though, when you talked about Pisces being similar to Sagittarius, Sagittarius deals with spirituality and religion, you guys, whereas Pisces deals with psychic
Oh, I
powers.
forgot that.
You put the two of those together, and to me, that's witchcraft. Spirituality is your
My
path.
I have Chiron in Pisces in the 11th, and I have an eighth house sun, sex, death, taxes. So, because I was kind of saying, where the hell did all this stuff come from for me? But also, Capricorn is another very psychic sign. They don't want to tell you that, but
Uh, No, we haven't really done that. We went through the 12 signs of the zodiac and explained their energy. And Sabrina told us how astrology can affect our daily lives and where the planets in your placement in your chart. Um, it's looking like this is going to actually be a series of shows. You guys, there's
It's a
just too
lot.
much.
It
Yeah.
is a lot. And we should have just stuck with the sign and left the houses out. Um,
It's okay. We didn't really dig too deep into the houses. We touched on the commonality between the 12 zodiac signs and the houses, which is cool. Um, but we are going to have to dig deeper into this topic, the planets. So I'm going to tell you why learning the glyphs is important for me. Um, Not only because I do use astrology in my tarot work and the cards I use, some of them do have glyphs on there. So when I was learning, they were very useful. Um, but it's important to me because I do sigil work with my magic. And I incorporate the glyphs for the planet and the zodiac signs into my sigils. So if I'm trying to get a more aggressive, or yes, the center of my sigil would be the sun symbol. Um, if I wanted to be more aggressive, I would have the um, yes, the moon is one I use a lot. I would use Aries or Mars. Um, Communication, I would use Mercury for intelligence. I would use Mercury or Aquarius. Um,
and Venus for your dick wheel.
for my dick wheel. That's right. Um, so
But more importantly,
incorporating
Mars
those,
for the dick wheel.
yeah. So I've said it before on my channel. Everybody talks about Mars being so aggressive and this and that. Did you know that he was the only god who was never credited with raping somebody? Um,
I like how you say credited, like it's an accomplishment.
right. Well, for the Greek gods, it kind of was. Um, they took advantage of everybody. So yeah, there is that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Kronos came along and Saturn and says, "Oh, you're not doing this anymore." I'm just showing you all the glyphs here. If that's distracting, I will stop. And I will stop right now because we're at the last one.
yeah.
Oh, I
Um,
forgot Jupiter. How did I forget Jupiter?
I don't know. Jupiter for expansion, Pluto for resurrection. Yeah, I incorporate these glyphs and sigils and ogham staves into my work, or not sigils, runes into my sigil work. Um, Plus free flowing sigils where my intuition takes over. So learning these glyphs, if you're wanting to work magic, um, this is a great thing to know. And I think the sexy UPS man just showed up. Um,
So it's time to go.
Pretty much. I have a client coming up soon anyway, you guys, so we're
I'm
gonna have to
I'm
cut it
supposed to
short.
be drinking with a friend here in another 15 minutes,
Well,
20
there we
minutes.
have it.
Yeah. So
So, I want to thank you for being here. I think Mars like boys. Mars for the dick wheel. um, yes, we had a great show today, Sabrina. Thank you. I will schedule something with you, and we will do part two of this, talking about the energy of the planets. Um, that is interesting because the planets on the decan wheel we showed go around several times. Um,
yeah, so the the dick wheel.
the dick wheel.
I'm never going to be able to forget about that now. But each deacon is ruled by a different planet. So this is when you start getting into it's super complicated because, 0 to 10 degrees of Aries is one decan, which is ruled by something else. And then the second decan is ruled by a different planet, and the third decan is ruled by another planet. And depending on what decan your sign lands in, whether it's, you know, 25 Sagittarius, for an example, that's the third decan. And the other thing I want to just mention real quick, since we're talking about degrees, because it's really important and it's coming up in the next 6 weeks, 1 to 2 months, 6 weeks. Pisces, as we talked about, was the very last sign of the zodiac. Okay. And where we talked about there being 0 to 29 degrees. 29 degrees is the very last degree point of Pisces. It's called the anaretic degree. So that is kind of like the complete accumulation of that sign in its most potent form. And also, where Pisces 29 degrees is also wrapping up the end of the astrological wheel. We have Saturn right now at 29 degrees of Pisces, and we have Neptune 29 degrees of Pisces. So we are ending a full entire astrological cycle of Saturn and of Neptune, and they are coming into 0 degrees of Aries, which is the sign, the very first sign of the astrological houses and zodiac wheel. So this also corresponds numerology wise with 2026 being a 1 year new beginning. So that's why, if you have an idea of these degree points and the astrological wheel, you can take a look at that, and in your own chart where you have 0 degrees of Aries, where that falls in your chart, you know that there is potential for a new beginning there, or a new responsible endeavor that may involve structured creativity. Saturn is structure, Neptune is creativity, or you're just going to be a very structured drunk in 2026 and have a good time.
I love that. It's a great way of looking at it. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Sabrina, stick around. Remember, tomorrow, Joey and I will be doing an earlier 420 show. Um, it is Christmas Eve, so anybody that wants to join us, please do so. And there is no Behind the Moon this Thursday night. We have decided to take it off. We'll be back next week, and we'll be doing a year recap and a projection of what we are going to be doing for the upcoming year. So I'm excited about that. I love you, Selena. I love all you guys in chat. Thank you
Can
for
I just
joining us.
can I just remind them that if they go onto my channel, is the holidays survival 3 tips. So go take a look at that. It's fun, and that's Tree of Life Inner Guidance.
Yes, and also on my Midnight Mall page on wildraventarotaz.com, you can order Selena or Sabrina's Selena. You could order Sabrina's deck from there. There's a link to take you to her website. All right. All right.
It's been a
So
blast. Let's do it again.
absolutely love you guys.
I really want to study your dick wheel.
Run that by my husband. All right.
Bring him along. He's a Capricorn. I already
Somebody's
know
got to
him.
run the camera. That's right. All right, everybody. Love you. Love y'all, but I got to go eat.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Happy holidays. Happy ho ho. Bye bye.
In stream.